When I was at my worst, down on my knees, I said to have my back. Who doesn't love Maroon 5 in the morning? All right, so we have a 180,000 mile Ford F-150 from one of our wholesale accounts, and I wanted to do a video on why we do not clamp anything together. Well, let me just show you what the last installer encountered when he was clamping everything together. So you have leaks at this joint, even though it's older, right? And then here, watch this. I see this so common. So common. Leaky joints and then loose parts. What happens with this loose part, it beats up the muffler neck. So besides the muffler neck is still intact here, but the example was that loose exhaust could ruin more of the exhaust system, but this was actually just decayed and rotted out. So you see there's a hole in here. Someone put a clamp holding it together. So we're gonna put in a universal one, but I wanted to explain why I don't clamp anything. So when I started into business years and years and years ago at Midas, we were one of the shops that tried to do a better quality job. I don't even know if it's a better quality job. We used a lot of direct fit parts, and we did do custom exhaust, but we didn't add flanges and clamps on a lot of exhaust. We had a lot of inventory back then. You know, the cars would come in, and you know, the system had the popular exhaust systems that were failing back then in the 90s, and then into the early 2000s, and then you would just walk to the shelf and you would just unbolt and bolt on, and then clamp on, excuse me, certain areas. So back then, there used to be a lot of flanges, 4-bolt flanges, and spring bolt flanges and things like that, and that's kind of all gone away now. You don't really see too many 4-bolt flanges on passenger vehicles. You don't usually see too many spring bolt style flanges as popular as it was back then. Flex pipes were kind of introduced into the early 80s or late 80s to 90s, and then now flex pipes are like standard on a lot of vehicles. Because it gives that exhaust system ability to move and eliminate some vibrations in there. So this system here was purchased from somewhere, and you have to buy clamps to clamp it all together if you don't have a welder, but clamping it together just creates problems. And for me, when we do an exhaust job, I don't want loose connections in a year or two or after the job's done. We don't want leaks, so that's why we weld everything together. It's a permanent repair, even though, in my opinion, clamping and welding is probably a similar failure rates. And why I say that is because the clamping of two materials, moisture gets to sit in those areas, right? So when you clamp it, it's squeezing, so it's going to leave little valleys, and it causes the acids from the exhaust and the rain and Mother Nature and salt and all that stuff to sit there and decay it away. But then when you weld, right, so if you weld at a hot temperature, right, and your burn through is really bad, to me, it seems like your weld decays the material and it has a faster failure rate. So I don't know if it's better or worse, and that's for aluminized stainless is a whole nother conversation. But for this typical low-cost direct fit exhaust parts, that's your option there. So clamping has its ups and downs and its convenience, and welding, in my opinion, has more benefits than clamping. Thanks for watching.